Welcome back to another Tera Plays Tera video. Alright, so in today's video, we are going to go over Tera Console, the card guide. Now, I do want to say before I dive fully into this, I haven't done it too much, but I have been researching about it, and I want to give a huge shout out to DZ for helping me answer all my questions and kind of solidify the answers I will bring you today. Along with, I will be doing research while doing this. It's going to kind of be a different experience that I want to try. Whereas, basically, I've dumped money into getting some of the card stuff to kind of figure it out instead of completely just grinding them. Because I figured I haven't had the time to grind as much. So, I didn't mind dumping the small cash into the game. And I don't really want to dump anymore because I really don't like this system. But overall, learning more about it, I have changed my perspective slightly since the last video. So to start off, let's go over the whole card UI and just kind of take a moment to look at the card collection. And you can see here, there are several cards, different varieties, common, green, and blue. And occasionally we will hit these yellow cards. And overall, there are just multiple cards that you can collect, and it depends on what you do in the game to collect these cards, and we'll go over that in just a bit. But I do want to show the collection off. You can see that they have all types of different stats, being Stigma, Weakness, Detective, and Stigma, Strength. You can see these guys give power, some cards give cooldowns, some give random buffs like the fishing and gathering, decrease fishing gathering times. So overall, just a lot of interesting buffs that the cards give. You can also see the cards through the binder, and this is another way to see all your cards. And this is actually how you enchant your cards, which we'll go over in a bit. But I do like the binder look a bit better than the collection look. The only thing that's bad about the binder, it doesn't tell you what the card does, but it does tell you how you can acquire them. And I'm going to be honest, 90% of the cards and the cards you want to collect are from the card fragment crates. And that's basically it. Again, it doesn't tell you what they do on this section. You have to go to the card collection binder, or you just have to know the card off the top of your head. Like, I know these two give 15 power, so on and so forth. So that is kind of how this works. The nice thing is you can also filter the cards, so you can see which ones you want specifically, or you can hit the hide cards and you can see I currently have this card that I got at the beginning of this update because I was kind of fiddling around with it, which, you know, you can see again for this where you can acquire the card. Let me actually go back to show all cards, and we're going to go over to the fishing ones, just to show how the fishing ones are slightly different. And you can see that for the common fish cards, you can acquire these from actually fishing in these specific locations. You actually do have to go to Cutthroat Harbor to get the marlin card or the other fishery. And you can also fish and get the green cards as well. The blue cards you can only acquire from the legendary crates. And it's the same thing with the gathering. The blue ones are only acquired from the legendary crates. But if you have the time... Oh, even the greens? No. Those are just the rare greens. My bad. Even the greens for gathering as getting plainstone. Crack open a bunch of rocks, get plainstone. You can potentially get a green plainstone card. And same thing with the apples and so forth. You do have to gather those specific items, I believe, as it says, acquire from gathering opal essence. And it tells you where you can find it. So overall, if you do want to farm these out, I do highly suggest taking the time to gather. Again, these buffs aren't really crazy for PvE content. So the nice thing though is as you gather these cards, they do hopefully benefit you towards the end. But again, you can see these are the only ones that you can acquire from not card crates. Everything else you have to get from the crates. So let's go into collecting cards, as I've said, because this kind of toggles into collecting. you know now you can get some cards from gathering, you can get some cards from fishing. The other two places is obviously doing dungeons or paying for your cards, unfortunately. And I hate to say this is what I don't like about the system. It seems like any of the decent cards, the best way to get them right now is sadly pay to win, which I hate. Now, it's not as bad as I originally thought, and I'll cover that, but obviously if you do want to get as many cards, paying is your best benefit, and it's just unfortunate. Doing dungeons, from all what I ran and from what my friends have ran, even if you run Kata hard mode, only one box drops, maybe two for double drops, but one box, from what it seems like, is guaranteed to drop. It's not a shared drop though, so you can run 16 dungeons every day on your main character and walk away without a card crate. And I think that's really horrible, and that's what I hope changes. I did message the devs or message support and said, you are making a huge mistake, please change this. I can't believe you are making the same mistake. And that is what I still stick by and hate with this system, and I despise it, and I hope they fucking change it, because I'm honestly sick of this shit, and it actually makes me want to pull away from the game a little bit. I understood it with the bracelets. I understood that the power sources weren't even that way. The power sources were a shared drop. I understood it for certain things. For certain items, I got it. But for something of this mass item, I really don't agree with it being one drop and a non-shared drop. If it was like 5 or 6, I'd say, okay, that's fine, make it not shared. But you're doing one, and it's not shared, is a little ridiculous. So hopefully the devs reconsider it. Hopefully they, if anything, make it drop more in harder dungeons. Like if AQ only dropped one, I'd understand, but Kata hard mode only also dropping one, I just wish they'd learn from their freaking, past and not repeat it. But whatever, they're lazy or they suck. It is what it is. The game's still fun. It's just, I disagree with this wholeheartedly, and I hate that pay to win is realistically the only way that for people for the first 6 months are going to get any real progress. Hopefully they change it in 6 months, but rant over, let's get into the actual more details. So that's where you can get your cards though, is from those locations. Now for enchanting cards, you need to own a card, which means you have to have at least that original copy, and then you'll see it in your collection binder, and you can press Y to go to enchant. What you'll see for the white card is that I need a total of 100 card XP, and I need an additional copy of this card. After speaking to DZ, for whites, greens, and blues, you will need one original copy, and then to get it all the way to plus 15 or plus 5, you need all 3 of them to get all buffs. To get it to plus 5, you'll need a total of that one original and 15 extra, so a total of 16 cards. You will also need to collect one white, one green, and one blue, and you'll need 15 white, green, and blue cards to get the full benefit of that card. So basically you get 16 of one card, and then you're good. There is no upgrading. You cannot upgrade a white to a green card. You can't upgrade a green to a blue card. You physically have to obtain said card, obtain a double of said card, and then enchant it. And for each level of enchanting, you need an additional variant or additional version of that card. So as I was saying, going 0 to 1, I need one more Durio Charisma Infuser. If I wanted to bring this from 1 to 2, I have that original, and I'll need 2 more Durio Charisma Infuser, as well as card XP. Now, getting card XP is pretty easy. You get it from doing your weekly and daily Vanguard missions. You can get it on every character multiple times. And the nice thing is that the card XP doesn't apply to one card. It is a huge pool So in other words, if I had 500 card XP inside my pool and I used it for this card, that would drop it to 400. And then let's say I can go back and decide I want to use another 100 for Dougal if I could upgrade Dougal, so on and so forth. The card XP does not go to that specific card until you enchant it, and then it just takes it away from your overall pool, which I was worried about that. I'm really glad they went with the pool rate. That does make this a bit better. Again, yellow cards are the same way as any of the other cards, except for yellow cards do know, if we look at our collection binder, do take a bit more to level up. You can get these to level 5 instead of, you only have to get these. Of course, yellow is going to require a lot more item XP. Same thing that blue requires more than green. Green requires more than commons. The actual link, if you want to go read all that stuff, I'll put in the description of this video. The website does do a decent job of explaining at least how much item or card XP you'll need and so forth. So that's kind of how this system works for enchanting and how all of that is. The next thing I want to go over, which I'm really happy to hear about, is that cards are shared throughout your whole account. So that means that one card that I currently have, I have this card on all my characters. And that's because I unlocked it, and it doesn't matter who you unlock it, everyone gets it. The same thing with card XP, it's shared throughout all of your characters. So I'll pop some card XP, and we'll actually just go through and check that out, because I have that stuff somewhere. So let me just pop all 4 of those right now. You can now see under my binder, I have 400. And just to show, I'll swap to Kuno, and then we can see that I do still have the card. It's still unlocked. I've not done any playing on Kuno. I've only logged into MeefBot barely ever. And you'll see that even Kuno will have that card and should have that same XP. And you saw that I had 0. So if we go to card collection on Kuno, we go to binder, I now have 4 cards. And I still have this card. So it's really nice that it is account shared. I thought it wasn't when I made the first patch note video. I was like, oh man, this is gonna suck. You have to get all these cards for, no, it is account shared, which is really amazing. The last thing I want to go over while opening up these boxes and stuff and showing and figuring out is what happens with too much duplicates, because I know that was a worry a friend of mine had. Was, oh my god, these cards are going to take up so much space, yada yada yada. We're going to get into that and figure that out right now. So these are the 3 items you can purchase from the store. The card gacha pouches, as you open, you get guaranteed card XP, and you get X amount of card boxes with it. So as you can see, I got quite a bit of card XP, along with I got a ton of common legendary crates. So that's probably the best bet. We'll just open up a few of these. So I got a Lumica, I got a green one, I got some more green ones, and we'll stop for right there just to show off the cards now. This is how they look in your inventory. So you can see I got some green ones. Oh, I said Lumica, I got a Lacan. Oh no, I did get a Lumicon as well. So as you can see, these are the cards. I don't like that it doesn't say what they do, that you'll have to actually like activate the card. So I now registered Lumica. We can come here, go to the binder, and now you can see I have a Lumicon. If I want to actually go through here, I'd have to change the page and find Lumica to actually see what, you know, her card gives me, and we can see that it increases my crit factor by 2. Once I get it to enchant level 5, by the way. So once I enchant her to level 5, then I get crit factor 2 increased. To get the level 10, like I said, you need to get the common and green or common blue, whichever one. You gotta get both of them up to 5, and now that's considered 10. You have to get all 3 variants up to 15. So that's kind of like, people might be like, oh, well, Now I want to see, can we actually dismantle these cards? So if we come into here, you cannot dismantle the cards, believe it or not. Item cannot be dismantled. This is something I hope they consider changing maybe in the future, is allowing us to dismantle these to buy cards we want, or just dismantle them into XP. From talking with DZ, and again, go to the guide that console has on their website, you can see from what it says though, if you over acquire a card, and I believe what this means is, let's say I got Illumika's common card to +5, that means if I was to receive that card again, instead the common would give me 10 card XP. If I had a green duplicate at that point that I didn't need, I'd get 25 XP, a blue gives 100 XP, and a legendary card would give me an additional 1k XP token. I'm going to assume that it gives you a token that you can redeem like this. So that kind of gives incentive to complete your card collection, to level them all up, because then as you start getting duplicates, you'll start getting extra XP, assuming they release more cards that could be a benefit to go through and complete your whole binder, so that you don't have to worry about, getting those duplicates again stuck in your inventory. Again, that's something, I guess you could just destroy them if you really didn't want them. But again, I hope that's a small change that they consider, because these cards are going to start getting hefty inside our inventories, especially with collecting them. And that's something that I don't think people would really want. Again, I'm not too sure on how all that conversion does work, since you can't just dismantle them. I think dismantling would just be better in general, and just let us dismantle it right into the XP instead of it taking up inventory space and having to deal with all of that inventory space for all of these cards. But so that's about it. That's the whole card system. That's about everything I can think of to go over with it. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'll do my best to get back to them. I know I haven't been playing and diving too much, so again, huge shout out and thank you to DZ for taking the time to answer some of my questions that I had to bring you all this content. Within that, I hope you have a fantastic day and or night. If you like this content, go ahead and hit that like button. If you're not subscribed, please consider doing so, as I greatly appreciate that, and that would help out the channel tremendously. Within that, as always, I hope to see you in Aboria, gamers. Also, just to show, because I just went through and found out a slightly more information I want to add, that I have opened up a few more cards, and you can see I have this Caden card. You can see right now it doesn't say I have a second one registered. If I go into my inventory, and I go through these cards, oops, mistakes were made. If you can see, I'll go through, I gotta find it, there's so many. As you can see, I have a second one, and it's not showing up. I believe it's because I have to register that, and now if I go into my cards, show hide, come to here, it does show that I now have both registered. So don't worry about having to not register all your cards. Go ahead and register all of them, and you can see that within that it'll say you have 1 out of 1 to enchant, and I'm assuming as you get more and more, it'll say 2 out of 1, so on and so forth. So you don't have to worry about over registering from what it seems like, and I'm assuming that whole thing, either the devs are smart and it'll say 15 out of 1 and then from there start giving extra item XP, or it won't register that you have duplicates until later. But yeah, that's an additional little tip I wanted to add at the end, because I'm still figuring this out as we go along, but I'm glad it happened. So there you go, enjoy.